When you invest in a startup, what is most important? Whether they have a great idea or whether it's a great team. Some people say the idea is most important because if you invest in a startup, it has a fantastic idea with a fantastic market. You can always replace the team down the line. I don't know about that. That may not be so easy, and maybe it's not so nice either. The other school says, okay, so we prefer the great team because a great team that has a not so great idea might be so great that they will, make pivots. They will find a way around, and they will gravitate towards a much better idea. I don't know about that either. I prefer, that from the outset you have a great team and a great idea. But in any case, it is super important to get a sense of whether you have a great team. And the first thing to consider there is it one founder or should it be several founders? And the results from many studies are in, and they're very clear that on average, the companies that have more than one founders perform better, much better in fact. So much better that there are some investors who, as a matter of principle, will never invest in single founder startups. Y Combinator is one of them. The only thing I would say to that is Amazon. So Jeff Bezos is a single founder, and he did absolutely great and has become massively wealthy, and anybody who has invested in his company as well, and his company has really changed the world. So there you go. But all else equal, several founders is a good thing, and there are reasons for that. When you are in a startup situation, you encounter a lot of difficulties. There are bad times. There can also be times where one is ill and so on. It may involve a ton of traveling. So when one is traveling, the other one is maybe back and minding the business. And also you have the environment you work in when in a startup. People have to work extremely independently. Because there's no time to mutually approve everything and coordinate everything. So you can, in a startup team, you have to be able to send somebody out and handle a complex, unpredictable task, and without management or without consent, really. And that works better if there's more than one founder. So if you look at multi-founder teams, what is the composition of founders you prefer? There are three things that I would look for, where they have to be different. First of all, you all else equal, you tend to prefer that one has a technical skill and the other one, if there are two, has a commercial skill. For instance, one is a tech nerd and the other one is super good at sales and marketing. The only frequent exception I see from this is when a company is largely based on creating a network effect, even if it's a technically oriented company. If it's very, very important to create a strong network effect, then there are quite a few examples where two commercial founders or three commercial founders can be quite effective because it's so much dependent on getting this network effect. So anyway, the first one is that you have this complementary skills. The second one is very related, and that is that you have complementary personalities. So you would like to have perhaps one who is extremely social and outgoing, and another one who's very focused on order and structure, and or who's artistic, or who's a great software developer and so on. So some investors, they do personality tests of founders, and they do team tests of founder teams to find out if they, first of all, if each of them have good personality for being a founder or being in a management team, but second, to find out if they're complementary and if there's something missing. And the third one is that it's great if they have each have their own big, great social network, but it's not really the same social network. So you get a pool of social networks. I think 20 years ago nobody would mention that, but today people are much more aware of the quality of having, of the importance of having great social networks. And social network can be the ones that you really know, that you recognize on the street, but you also have the more extended social network of people who follow you on social media, or read what you write and see when you are in television or whatever. So if you can pool that, that's great. So this is about differences between them. There's one aspect where I think it's beneficial that they are not so different, and that is in cultural values, cultural habits. I'll give you an example. A shared sense of humor works really well. And I don't know if you've ever tried to work in a team where some have one sense of humor, some have another sense of humor, or somebody has no sense of humor. Somebody gets offended by what you think is funny. That makes it difficult to work together when you're going through hard times together. The perfect situation is where you not only know each other well and have done it for a long time, but you're also been through some difficulty together. So if I should state the absolute perfect team in that sense, then it is somebody who worked together before in a high growth, high pressure startup, who were in situations that were really difficult, who each know how the other one react in such situations, and who then after that decide to break out and start a new company. Or maybe the company ended going wrong and it's the same management that starts a new company. You like them because you know that they, first of all, that they each believe the other ones belong on the team, and each know the peculiarities of the other. So these are the main things I would look at in a founder team.
Do you speak future?